have a lot of information to share when we welcome our next guest, Siobhan Foster. She is Village Management Services CEO, and you guys have always something great going on. Lots of information to share, and today's no exception. We're going to talk about basically assessments today a little bit, right, and some other things. But start us off with why we're taking a look at assessments right now.
Sure. We just want to share what our assessments are and how we compare to many of our neighboring communities or what we call our sister communities out there. So on the screen before you is the United Basic Assessment. And
you can see this one, like, for a lot of folks, assessments are, oh my gosh, they're going so high. This is a very slow rise, right? This is what you want to see if you're living in a community like this, and nothing extreme, no major spikes in the assessment, right?
Sure. And what this screen shows is that the United Assessment increased by $106 over the prior 10 years. And this is an average of 2.3% a year. Yeah. And if we combine this with the GRF portion, the total basic assessment increased by $111 or 20.1%, which represents an annual average change of 1.7%. And if we compare this to the CPI over the same period of time, that increased 3.1%.
I was going to say, that's pretty good. Those are pretty good numbers in terms of CPI and just the cost inflation and those kinds of things. So
Absolutely.
The numbers are pretty nice. Third basic basic assessment seems about the same, right?
Right. If we look at the screen, it went up $203 over the prior 10 years, an annual average of 3.5%. If we combine it with the GRF portion, the assessment went up $208 or 34.3% for an average annual change of 2.6% per year. And again, the CPI went up 3.1% per year over that period.
And I guess the big question for residents who maybe aren't as dialed in as others who kind of know where all the money is going is, where does this money go to, right?
Sure.
Where are we spending all this? Why am I being charged so much, and where does it go?
Correct. So on the screen before you, we should have an infographic which shows where the United monthly assessment goes. And this reflects the $436 for United, as well as the $228 that United residents pay for GRF. So you'll see that it involves maintenance and construction, general services, utilities, and so forth.
Right, and it just kind of, I think it's one of those things where it's like it's so widespread in terms of where the monies go. It's everything that you have here in the village. It has to come from somewhere, and someone has to pay for it. So this is a really great idea to kind of have this breakdown so people understand, hey, this is where we're spending that money, and there are real costs to these things that you get here, services-wise.
Right, and I should mention we've published these in What's Up in the Village, as well as the Village Breeze. And so they're available on our Village website under the News tab if anybody wants to go look at them.
Closer look and that kind of thing. And kind of the same thing again here for third in terms of where the monies go.
Correct. So third pays $588 for third services and $228 for GRF common use amenities and services.
And notice the split up for GRF is the same exact amount allocated to each homeowners association,
That's
right?
correct, and including Mutual 50 because they use our facilities.
Okay, terrific. Well, let's take a look, and like you say, when you're living in this community, people say, well, they have anecdotal, I heard these guys are only paying this, or I heard these guys are only paying that. But in terms of how you line up, you have a great comparison chart here. Again, people can look at this online as well, but just as a general overview, what are we looking at here?
Okay, so this is the cost breakdown of various 55-plus communities, and it compares average basic assessments, common use amenities that are offered, total assessments, community locations, home values, and so forth. The data is telling favorably for Laguna Woods Village. It shows that Third and United Mutuals together are by far the largest representation with 12,425 homes compared to the next largest community that has half the number of homes, and their total basic assessment is more than twice that of United's and almost twice that of Third Mutual's.
So it would seem to be that the money is being spent wisely, so to speak. I mean, we can make a general assessment like, hey, the money is going to what it needs to be going to, and there's some efficiencies there compared to other homeowners associations throughout other communities and even other states, right?
Right, and there are a few things we want to stress. First, compare Third and United's total and average basic assessment to other communities that are significantly smaller and offer far fewer amenities.
Right.
And then compare the number of homes in each community to put our landscaping and maintenance tasking into greater perspective.
Then
then
the next chart you have there, it actually kind of shows like a little bit of a check off of all the things that Third and United and we have here in this community. And what you want to see is checks across the board and low cost. And that seems to be like the general I would gain from this. A lot of other associations, Rossmore Village or, other ones in Talega and those kinds of places don't have all the amenities, yet their costs are even somehow higher. So
Correct. And I do want to mention that certain utilities such as trash, water, sewage, and basic cable are included in our assessments, whereas they may not be in some of the ones that we show on screen.
Yeah, so even more bang for the buck, so to speak.
Right. And then on the next chart, we show some examples of our sister communities and how United and Third compare to those communities. Specifically, you'll see that United Mutual has a lower assessment than Leisure World Seal Beach, Rossmore Walnut Creek, and Leisure World Maryland. And Third Mutual has a lower assessment than Rossmore Walnut Creek and Leisure World Maryland.
And even Arizona, which, the cost of living is lower out there and the cost of materials can be a lot lower and the taxes are, and still we're able to, compare pretty strongly in terms of those communities. So that really says a lot for what's going on here in the village.
Correct, and we're very excited just to share this information because it's been a while since we've done this.
Okay. And we also got lots more information here.
Yes.
We have a rate proposal, and this is nothing you guys control, but you want to have the residents be aware of, what's going on and opportunities to have input and learn a little bit about what the proposal is.
Right, thank you. SCE, Southern California Edison, will present on its income graduated fixed pricing proposal that has been submitted for consideration as part of the California Public Utilities Commission proceedings to implement recent changes in the state law, California Assembly Bill 205, statutes of 2022. There will be a presentation at the Laguna Woods City Council meeting on Wednesday, so tomorrow, February 21st at 2 p.m. And again, this is held in Laguna Woods City Hall, and Edison will be presenting on the proposed rate increase. The meeting will be broadcast live on Channel 3 within the village and live streamed by Zoom via the city, and you can pick up that information, how to join the Zoom meeting on their agenda on the city website.
Okay. And people want to talk or, and be able to dial in. We have some information about how they can do just that, right, on the next slide here.
Yes.
If people want to be able to dial in and be able to give their input, how can they do that?
These are for in-person and for remote public forums. This is separate from the meeting tomorrow at the village, at the city hall. These are ways you can also participate. You can view them via the internet or listen via telephone. You can comment using your phone number, passcode, and the instructions that we show on the screen. The meetings are Tuesday, March 5th and Wednesday, March 20th at 2 and 6 p.m. The phone number and passcode are shown on the screen, and then it shows how you make a comment. There are also in-person forums on March 20th at 2 and 6 p.m. at the Recreation Park Community Center in Long Beach.
And then there's also a way for residents to be able to email or send in their comments, write a letter and that kind of thing too,
Absolutely,
right?
And here are the addresses for that. There's an email address that's shown and then a mailing address to a San Francisco mailing address. And in either format, please reference the proceeding number. That's the key, and that's R2207005.
All right, now let's talk a little pain and then payoff. We're going to be closing Clubhouse 1. That's coming up in March, right? And the renovations are kind of long overdue. We've talked a little bit about this before.
Yes, and they're pretty comprehensive. Again, renovations begin in early March, and so we've been focusing on relocating people who had reservations at Clubhouse 1. We're pleased to report that nearly 100% of those rental groups have been relocated to other venues. And also, bocce and petanque will remain open during construction. And to help offset the closure of the fitness center at Clubhouse 1, we're excited to announce expanded community fitness center hours starting Monday, March 4th. The fitness center will be open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Oh, wow.
daily, and then on weekends from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Similarly, Clubhouse 5 Fitness Center will be open daily from 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Fitness staff will also provide users with information on free gym memberships in the area through their health insurance plans, depending on eligibility. And our personal trainers are finalizing locations for their sessions.
Now, the project's finally here in terms of Clubhouse 1 renovation. So are you excited about the overall plan and what it will have at the end of this construction?
Yes, we'll have a beautiful facility for our residents to use. It'll be noticeably improved and kind of brought up to the current century, current time period.
Current century, plugs that look normal and those kinds of things.
Yes.
What about transportation in terms of alternative? Because that's kind of been a transportation hub in front of the clubhouse.
Correct.
There too.
That is our transportation hub, Clubhouse 1. We'll be establishing an alternate transportation hub in the parking lot east of the Village Library and History Center. This allows our fixed route bus service to continue service without modifying the schedules and still allow for parking for the Village Library and History Center.
Okay.
So we're excited about that outcome.
And one last little bit of fun is that we have the art exhibit is up in the building here in the community center on the first floor and the third floor. They took all the art out a little while back, and I was like, "What happened?" Because I'm not used to. I'm kind of new here, and I was like, "Where did it all go?" And so then the big exhibit went back up. So tell folks about that.
Sure. This is an annual partnership with the Laguna Woods Arts Association. They display their beautiful artwork throughout the community center, and it switches every year. Mm-hmm. And so we just went through the switch. There are more than 170 pieces displayed, again, on the first and third floors. And this includes acrylics, mixed media, oil, watercolors, and other mediums. And residents can vote on their favorite art piece between now and March 1st by picking up a ballot at the concierge desk on the first floor of the building.
Right, so it'll be up for a long time, but to vote, we got to get in there before March 1st, and there's some beautiful, beautiful art in here. And I also know some of this is available for sale.
Correct.
We had some folks come in and talk to us a bit about that. So, but it's still going to be up there. If you want to buy it, it's still going to have to stay up on the walls until the exhibit's over. So you can't take it away just yet. You have to contact the artist to make sure. Siobhan Foster from VMS CEO, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you in.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it.
When we come back, we'll be talking to folks from the Jazz Lovers Club. Stay with us.